Yeah, good evening, aspirants. Welcome to Mains, Ace the Mains program. So, as already I have discussed about this program, many students have been asking me about how to be perfect in mains answer writing. So, this is going to be the first class. I am directly going with the class, day one, where I am going to discuss about the strategies on how to ace the economics mains answer writing. So, after economics, don't worry, we are going to be launching module wise. Right. So once we get accustomed to one module, you'll understand how the themes will be going on. So in this day one, I am going to discuss what is the perfect strategy to prepare for mains economics. So this is exclusively a mains orientation program. So before going into this, look at this. What is the challenge in mains? So we already discussed about prelims that I am going to launch it again. But already my students who has followed my prelims, you got a rough idea on how to prepare for prelims. But what exactly is the problem with the mains? The problem with the mains are there are many myths associated with it. Like some people feel that answer writing is very difficult. Some people feel that they're not good at making the sentences. Some people find difficulty in getting the content. Some people will have some analysis that we have to read the current affairs component and make a note of it. So there are different myths associated with it, but unfortunately, majority of the students, unless and until they don't clear prelims, they don't practice answer writing. This is one of the most challenging things in the mains, by the way. But if you prepare systematically, those candidates who have prepared for prelims, if you give 50% of that preparation for the mains, we can get to through this mains. So mains requires a systematic analysis altogether. Why I say this is, observe UPSC prelims syllabus. They have given bullet points. They did not discuss in detail about the bullet each and every topic. They said Indian economy, socio, political, and sustainable development. And then they said about poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives. These things they said, but they did not discuss in detail. When you go to the prelims, prelims of UPSC, we find questions from banking sector. We find questions from the so-called money and money supply. We find questions from the so-called sectors of economy. All these questions are coming, but look at the syllabus that they gave. They just gave one bullet points and they are asking 18 to 20 questions on it. But when you come to the mains, this thing is not there. UPSC precisely discusses what is the syllabus. And the beauty of this exam is, majority people doesn't know due to the market. The beauty is UPSC confines to the predetermined syllabus. The questions will be based on this range itself. So once we understand this, that these persons are not going beyond a particular point, we'll come to know what is the territory or the boundaries on which we have to prepare for this subject altogether. So this is the first thing that I wanted to say. Whenever you are preparing for the mains, this is not about reading, this is about thinking. What to think? Your thinking should start at how the syllabus is framed, what is the chronology of the syllabus. Second thing that you should know is, you should analyze in detail components of the syllabus. Take for example, today I will show you how to analyze UPSC economics syllabus. The moment you analyze it, it will be efficient for answer writing. So everyone should know the analysis of the syllabus. I am not asking you to by heart the syllabus. I am asking you to analyze the syllabus. The moment you analyze the syllabus, there will be a systematic flow of the syllabus that UPSC has given and we are expected to write in the similar line. This is the first thing. Everyone should know the syllabus. Which syllabus? Official syllabus of UPSC. Why I am saying this? Mains questions will not go beyond this. So what I expect all the students who are trying to ace the mains, within a short span, if you want to become efficient writers, you should know what they are expecting. The first thing to know, the first sign that we have is syllabus. So every one of you should have the syllabus copy that I have uploaded in this group. You already find this in the course. Go to the download section, you'll find that. Download that syllabus, take the print, keep a copy of print. Whatever I have given, that is the consolidated pattern of UPSC syllabus itself by taking what is necessary from the notification. Syllabus copy, you carry it. And second thing, syllabus should be in the brain. I said mains answer writing is about thinking, not about content generation. The more we think, the more organized we become, the more orientation it will come. So think about the syllabus. So know the syllabus, think about the syllabus, analyze the syllabus, think about the syllabus. Then at max in GS, you have to write 150 words or 250 words. So we have to prepare the dimensions in every topic, and on each dimension you should have some content. Along with this, you should have some flesh and blood, that is called some data, that will be provided to you here. And then what you should think? You should think about the question formation. So think the way in which the question is being asked, analyze it, and then apply the content that we are giving, apply the facts that we are going to determine here, the flesh and blood that I am going to say. So if you do this, 65% of your work is done. The rest of the thing is practice at least 30 questions on every module. Practice 30 questions in every module. You will become the best person in mains. Nothing more is required. Practice 2 questions that I am going to give in this module every day. After the completion of the module, I will be keeping 2 tests for all the people who have enrolled here, and I will be going through the papers. Don't worry. So my target is, I want everyone of this course who has enrolled here to ensure that you should not worry about mains in future. Whatever the module that you take, you should have that clarity. Second, you have to be ever ready to write the mains. Even if you are sleeping, if I ask you by giving a question, you should be ready to write something on this. Right, these are the 2 things. So to target is, in the next 18 days, you should not worry about economics for UPSC mains. So how to do it, how to analyze it, these things I will be discussing in this day 1 class. Right. So again, I congratulate you for taking this, because this is going to be a systematic guidelines for every candidate who have joined here. I'll be coming for few subjects, and for few other subjects, respective faculties will be coming for this course. Right. So that is still in discussion, but majority of the components will be taken by me. So what do we have for the day? So let's start with the day 1. The strategy for UPSC mains, economics. What is my duty here? What I will provide, what you have to do, so that it will be a win-win situation for all of us. Right. So let me share the screen first. Right guys, this is the thing that I have been saying about. So this is a course anyhow, economics for mains. Ace the Mains, which is an 18 days program to ace in economics mains answer writing. First of all, before going into this, what is the importance of this economics for our UPSC? What is the importance of that? Okay, charger this extension box ఉంటుంది అది కాదు లోపల extension box తీసుకొని charging పెట్టు. First of all, let me start here. What is the importance of this subject called economics for mains? Now we all know that it is in GS paper 3. This is the syllabus, ladies and gentlemen. You have to download it and you should analyze it. Now why I said you have to analyze it, today I will tell you what is the importance of mains analysis of syllabus. So we all know that in GS paper 3 we have the official syllabus of UPSC is this. I have not added anything from my side. This is entirely GS. The only thing that our team has added is this, right? GS paper 3 is this: technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. So you can give this as one component, internal security as one component, technology as the other component, economic development as the fourth component, or there are 4 themes here: theme 1, theme 2, theme 3, theme 4. So the theme is economic development. So you all know that this is for 250 marks. In this 250 marks, around 120 marks it will be of economics. Around 120 marks will be of economics. These days they are asking around 100, which means in the economic development segment, if you look at the syllabus, they are going to ask anywhere between 8, 9 and 10 questions out of 20. Earlier they used to ask 20. These days they are asking on an average 8 to 9. So we all know that there are 10 marker and 15 marker in UPSC mains. Total is 20 questions of 250 marks. So 4 questions to 5 questions will be from 10 marker. 4 questions to 5 questions will be from 50 marker. This is the thing that they will be giving. So around 100 marks to 120 marks out of 250 in this paper will be from economics. And the beauty of this subject is questions will be within the expected limits. We can expect the questions and they are going to come. And look at the topper's score in GS paper 3. On an average, the toppers, I am speaking about the toppers, the top 100 ranks, their scores will be somewhere around 105 to 115 in this paper. In this paper, GS paper 3, they will be getting around 110 to 115. Why they score this? Some people even have the score of 120 to 125. Now why we can get to this? This is the topper score. When we can get to this score? When we know that in these 4 segments, here there are for 120 marks. If you are scoring somewhere around 75 marks here, in the remaining 130, if you are able to score just 50 also, your score will be 125. This is the beauty of this. 75 marks, it is very easy to score. Why it is very easy? Unlike GS paper 2 where there is polity is difficult for mains indeed. In economics, questions will be directly from Tito. In the syllabus, whatever you have, they will pick up the questions. We should have basic content. We should have the flesh and blood, the points for answer writing, the substantiations, ready-made introductions and conclusions. If we have that, our work is done. We can score 120 to 125 marks in this paper. So what I say is, all the candidates, our target should be 70 to 75 in economics alone. The remaining, even if you score 50 also, you will be the topper in this paper in the country. So this is first thing that I wanted to say. So what do I mean? So what is the importance of this? The importance is less syllabus, more output. In economics, we call it as capital to output ratio. Any country will have best capital to output ratio if less capital and they are taking maximum output. That is called efficiency. Right? Less capital input, more output. If you are taking, then your efficiency will be very, very high. So with little input, if you want to get maximum output, there are few topics in UPSC mains where with a little input we can get maximum output. The top among them is economics. The top among them is economics. So this is the one. What is the little input? The little input is we should have a basic understanding of all these topics, very simple to understand and very easy to write. So within short span we can get maximum amount of output here. Now look at my syllabus arrangement here. Day 2, day 3, day 4. Day 1 is today. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. How I analyzed is, I did not keep it in the same pattern that UPSC has asked. I have given this in a systematic manner so that your work will be reduced and we can cover maximum output. I started with investment models, infrastructure, like this. Right? The segments which are important of the most and the segments which gives or which we can cover within less span of time. Right? So this is the thing. So what is the importance of this, guys? If you want to become the topper in UPSC, out of 250 marks in GS paper 3, 120 marks will be from economics. Our target has to be 75. In the remaining 130 marks of GS paper 3, even if you are scoring 50, your score will be 125 and you will become the highest mark getter of this paper. This is the target, as simple as it. 75 marks here. Right. And already I discussed about the course details. I'm not going now into that now. Now day 1. So my today is what is the best strategy here. This strategy is not only for mains, economics, this is for entire other subjects of mains. The best strategy to prepare for UPSC mains is syllabus has to be understood in depth. I'm not asking you to by heart the syllabus. See, this game is about thinking. Those who think the more, they will win the game. Thinking is the solution for mains. Prelims, practice is prelims. Mains, meditate. That is what we used to call mains, M. Meditate. Think. Prelims, P. Practice. So the best strategy here is syllabus. Everyone should meditate on the syllabus. You have to have a deep correlation with the syllabus. Why syllabus understanding is extremely important? Syllabus understanding is extremely important for every part of answer writing because the moment you analyze the syllabus, you will get the coherence that you are expected to write on the paper. Now, how I say that you are expected to write in the coherence manner? I am not saying this. This is said by official UPSC paper itself. Look at the syllabus for this. So if you download the syllabus copy, so you'll be finding it. Look at what are the remarks that UPSC said. In essay writing, they said here, candidates may be required to write essays on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, and you have to arrange the ideas in an orderly fashion. You have to arrange the ideas in an orderly fashion. This is what they said. Arrange the ideas in an orderly fashion. How will you get this orderly fashion? Coherence. For that as a clue, UPSC has given the syllabus in a coherent manner. Look at why they have given GS paper 1 history first. Next to society they gave. Next to geography they gave. Then they gave polity. Then they gave governance. Then they gave social justice. Then they gave international relations. Then they gave economics. Then they gave technology. Then they gave disaster management. And then they come to internal security along with ethics. Don't you find one coherence here, orderly fashion? If you think deeply, Why they have kept history at the beginning? They should have kept in GS paper 3. Internal security they should have kept in GS paper 1. They did not keep. Unless and until we understand the history, the great history of our motherland, we cannot know how we are present today. So that was the introduction, history. Then they will introduce, once you understand the great history of this land, we have to understand the social conditions, society in which we are living. So once we know the history, we'll come to the so-called society. That is why in the second part they kept as society. We understand the entire history of this land, and now we'll understand what exactly is the social composition here. And then we will have to understand the geographical boundaries, how this geography is present. Further, they introduce the topic of geography. Once you understand the historical legacy of this land, once we understand the social environments of this country, once we understand the geographical nature of this country, then they went to GS paper 2. So this state is formed with these boundaries. Now how to administer it? Further, they said polity, where they will discuss about how the political structure has to be organized, how the power is divided, how the federal units are organized, what are the relations between the federal units here, what are the challenges in the federal institutions, and do we have any constitutional mechanisms which are governing these institutions? That is what they say. After discussing that, they go to governance. Once I say this is the land, this is the administrative structure that we have, the function of this body of polity is to govern. Here they have given about the so-called the second aspect. That aspect is about governance. What is the purpose of governance? Governance is nothing but government doing its function. The administrative capacity of the government is called governance. What is the ultimate objective of governance? To do welfare for the people. What do you mean by welfare? In economics, you call it as welfare. In polity, the term used for welfare is social justice. Because in society, majority of the sections are expecting something, you have to do social justice. So in society, you understood that. What is the social composition? What are the expectations of the people? Now achieve their objectives by doing governance functions. Governance functions. So that is the reason they gave social justice. And then polity is nothing but internal relations. Now a country will not only have politics internally, it will have linkages with other countries. That is why they gave IR. Governance is not just restricted to your country. Today in a globalized world, you have governance incorporated at every place. Governance overlap at every place. Right, the moment you take governance that is overlapping, the overlapping consensus of all the states that are existing will have the development. Rational thoughts will come. So that is the reason they gave international relations. Then I know what is the polity of this. I know how to govern. How I know what is my objective to ensure that there is social justice. And then I know how our countries are bilaterally and multilaterally cooperating. Now, in order to implement governance functions, I should have money. I might be having majority of the things, aims that I want to develop my country. But the question is, do we have that capacity? The answer for that capacity comes from this topic that is called economics. That is the reason they introduced economics in the GS paper 3. So how you can advance economically? You can rely on the conventional technologies or you can go for modern day technologies also. Once we get accustomed to how our economy is present, then they will take you to technology. That is the reason economy will be followed by technology in the syllabus. Now, in order to develop by using this technology, are you harming the environment or not? If you are harming the environment, the development is not going to be sustainable. As a result, the development will be curtailed for one period, it will not extend for others. That is the reason, after giving economic development, they went to technology, and coupled with this, if you are destroying the environment, there will be environmental challenges, biodiversity challenges, disasters. That is the reason they gave it in the next component of GS paper 3. The last component is, okay, I have polity, I have governance, I have social justice, I have money, I am going for technological advancements with sustainable development, but unfortunately, majority of the sections of people are not developing. My growth is concentrated in few hands. We are developing in terms of money, but if there is failure of governance, what happens? Few segments will be relegated to backward, few people will be forward. There will be high inequalities in the country. So if my paper 2 fails, if my paper 3 part 1 fails, paper 3 part 2 comes. What do I mean by that? If your polity or governance is going to be a bad governance, if you are not getting social justice, if you are not ensuring social welfare, and if there is no sustainable development, there will be inequalities in the country. And long back there was a famous scholar known as Aristotle who has said that inequalities breed injustices, injustices breeds revolutions. అసమానత్వాలే అన్యాయాలకు దారి, అన్యాయాలు విప్లవాలకి దారి తీస్తాయి. This is the thing, and that is the reason why they kept internal security. What is the first component of internal security? Linkages between development and spread of extremism, and how that extremism is present. What are the institutions that we have to cope up with it, and how to overcome it? So look at the orderly fashion. Now what my point here is, why I'm asking you to analyze the syllabus in this way. When you write an essay, UPSC is saying you have to arrange your ideas in orderly fashion. That doesn't apply only for essay, it applies for even all the GS papers also. The difference between essay and the GS papers is, here you will be writing 1250 words, there you will be writing 150 words or 250 words. That is the only difference. But every answer writing will have the same pattern. You have to write in an orderly fashion. How to write it in an orderly fashion? Look at the syllabus. UPSC, if you try to observe the structure of syllabus, UPSC has given how to arrange these ideas in an orderly fashion. That is the reason. Look at the beauty of structuring: history, society, geography, polity, governance, social justice, IR, economics, technology, disasters and environmental challenges, and then they came to internal security. Coupled with this, there should be ethics in human beings to make this life sustainable. We can have any structure, as Babu Rajendra Prasad said in his Constitution Assembly debates. There is no such thing called good constitution or bad constitution. It all depends upon the persons who are holding this book of constitution. If the person who is holding this constitution is constituted of a good lot, the constitution turns out to be good. And if the batch that is holding this constitution is a bad lot, constitution turns out to be bad. What does this mean? You can have good social conditions, you can have good political conditions, you can have good economic conditions, but if the structure is not with good people, not with moral people, ethics in the people, it is decreased, we will be reeling on the deathbed on the mortuaries. So that is the reason they gave ethics as final topic. So there is one systematic arrangement. So this way of analyzing of UPSC syllabus itself is a challenge for many students. Majority students doesn't know how the structure is there. UPSC will not go with out of blank questions as the market says. No. There is an order. Order is maintained in the syllabus. Order will be maintained in the question papers also. That is what we have to get. So what is my point here? The point that I am stressing here is, all the students who have joined this course, the first duty is you should know the analysis of the syllabus step by step. The moment you analyze the syllabus step by step, your way of thinking will change. Your way of writing will change. Flow will come with this thought. Pen should move. Pen will move when you have this. This is the first thing that I wanted to say. Syllabus analysis. Now the beauty is, not only they have given the syllabus in orderly fashion, even if you go internally with the topics, if you analyze each module, be it economic module, polity module, governance module, you will find one coherence there also. That is the point that you have to understand again in this. Now, what is that coherence? Today I'll show you with economics, and then you'll never forget the syllabus of economics in your life. So the first strategy, the strategy that I wanted to say is, if you want to write effective answer writing, you should have the coherence. Why? UPSC is expecting it. UPSC is not expecting you to write some poetry, or they are not asking you to innovate something here. What UPSC is asking you, you should have in GS paper 3, look at what UPSC is saying. What is UPSC expecting? In the mains answer writing, this is another thing that everyone should know. These people will not read. This is another component that I wanted to highlight from the official notification of UPSC, this year's official notification, and every year this will be the same. The mains examination is intended to assess the overall intellectual traits and depth of understanding of candidate rather than merely the range of their information and memory. This is the first thing that they said. They are going to test the intellectual traits and the depth of understanding. So they will ask you whether you have understood the topic or not. Who will understand the depth of understanding rather than your information and memory. So no need to by heart the data, no need to go after information cramming, that people will say you should have this content, you should have that content, you should read this. No. Depth of understanding, intellectual traits will develop with wisdom. Wisdom develops with thinking. What Socrates said. The more a person dwells into themselves, they become wise. And the wise person's test is the intellect. So that is what they are saying. That is what I said. Mains is about meditation, meditation, meditation. Thinking, thinking, thinking. Now, second part of the story. The nature and standard of the papers will be in such a way that a well-educated person will be able to answer them without any specialized study. This is the most important thing that you have to remember when you are preparing for GS paper 1, GS paper 2, GS paper 3, GS paper 4. You doesn't require specialized study. So majority people will be reading like this. If they ask some questions on whether Indian economy is going with V-shaped recovery, then they will start going and getting the data. Okay, quarter 1 data is this, quarter 2 data is this, quarter 3 data is this, and they will be, after the so-called information, they will be making in-depth analysis of this. Whether caste has any relevance today in the form of institutions of marriage, if they ask in society, now we'll start going through the so-called caste systems which is present in the country, and we'll start digging it. UPSC itself, don't dig. You don't require specialized understanding. What you require is a well-educated person's knowledge. Now, what does mean by well-educated person? Education is not cramming. It is not about digging. It is about widening the scope. So no need to go for specialized study here. Generalized studies is important. Why? The questions will be in such a way that it will test the candidate's general awareness of a variety of subjects which will have relevance for a career in UPSC. So they are going to test you not. They are going to test general awareness, whether you have basic awareness or not. When basic awareness will develop, when we look at the current affairs newspapers, what is happening in and around us, when we think, general awareness will develop. The questions are likely to test the candidate's basic understanding of all relevant issues and ability to analyze and take a view on conflicting socio-economic goals. You have to take a view. So you have to understand, and we have to take a view on conflicting socio-economic goals, objectives, and demands. Now see, if you want to develop these traits, you have to think more. So GS papers, simply what they are saying is, if you look at the notification, it is going to test your intellectual traits which doesn't require too much of information, too much of memory, too much of specialized studies. You should be like an intellect, a well-educated person with a wide variety of awareness on what is happening in day-to-day life. We have to analyze, understand, and present our different perspectives on the socio-economic goals, objectives, and demands of the country, because then you will be perfectly suitable for an officer. That is what UPSC said. Tell me how many people will be going through this. The moment you know this, you will not feel tensed. However, for optional paper, look at what they said. Optional is of honors degree level. As a result, it requires specialized study. So general studies doesn't require specialized study, but optional paper, you require honors degree level, which they are going for broad, which means specialized study is important here, which it doesn't require in GS paper 2, GS general studies papers. So what is my point here? If you are preparing optional, take the help of a mentor, go and join some classes, and you have to prepare. But general studies, we have to know how to think, how to enlarge our mind, how to present it in a systematic manner. These things are important. So this is what UPSC official syllabus says. So what I am saying is, today I am starting with this topic that is called, in my day 1, I am saying about this thing. What is the best strategy for UPSC mains, be it for economics or any other paper? The best strategy is, we have to understand the coherence in the syllabus, just like how I discussed. Coherence will be present not only in the way UPSC is asking has given the syllabus, that will be helpful, even within a particular module, that will go in a coherent manner. The moment you understand the coherence, it leads to an orderly fashion of writing. That is what UPSC is expecting. So the first strategy is, as a person who is in meditation, you should analyze the syllabus day in and day out. For the next 17 days, as far as the program is considered, I require every one of my student to go through the syllabus again and again. It has to be in our residual brains that without any effort, the syllabus has to come through your residual knowledge itself. This is the first thing. I'll show you how to remember the syllabus of UPSC also in a coherent manner as far as economics is considered. Next. Then we'll be discussing previous year questions also here. So what will be my strategy here? At the starting of every topic, I'll show you, at the starting of the course, I'll be discussing about syllabus coherence, the easy way to remember the syllabus so that it will be organized in your brain. That is my work, that is my first work. Your work is, once I discuss this, the next 17 days or 16 days, you have to come to the class by going through the syllabus again and again. Second thing, at the beginning of the class, I will be discussing previous year questions first. I will be giving the scope in which they are asking, so that we will understand the length and breadth of the subject of a particular topic. What is the focal points in it? So I'll just discuss about the previous year questions, not to explain the answers, but to give you about the boundaries of that particular theme. After that, after giving a brief introduction about previous year questions, I'll be going to the content, because we require basic content to write, at least some 250 words content for every theme and sub-theme of the syllabus. So for all the topics, I'll be making it and I'll be giving it to you in the class. You have to understand, because it requires understanding. Clarity on topics will come, and crisp notes for reference material, I'll be providing it from my end. So for all the topics, you should have clarity on the topics, crisp notes will be provided. So these things I'll make sure. And then the most important thing is answers, how to present the answers. Whatever the paper it is, be it essay paper, be it paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 or paper 4, be it any subject for that sake, answer is like presenting ourselves on the paper. So it should have some basic elements. A human answer writing is, the beauty of answer writing is, it is like Brahma creating a human body. Brahma has created as one head, one body, and 2 feet with a connector. Right, neck is the connector between head and body. Torso is the connector between body and the feet. So our answer should contain the same thing. We are representing ourselves. If you are going to a marriage, how you represent yourself? You'll go with some decent shirt. We'll comb our hair. We'll make sure that our face is good, right? And then we go with the decent shirt, decent pant, and along with a nice pair of chappals, like this. We are going to take care. For one occasion, you are going to take care. So UPSC gives you choice to appear for 20 occasions in one paper. So it is like going for 20 functions altogether, where you are presenting yourself on the paper. Answer writing is not just bringing the content. You are presenting your whole body there. Why I said this? By reading your answer, the evaluator will come to know what type of personality he is. You may be present in Delhi, Kanyakumari, Assam or Gujarat. By looking at your answer writing, I can tell which personality he is. Are you well organized personality? Are you a person who is feeling tensed? Are you a person who is having knowledge? Are you a person who is optimistic? Are you a person who is pessimistic? Are you a problem seeker? Are you a problem finder of solutions? Or are you a person who is risk averting? Everything will be known from your answer. Just by looking at your performance, answer writing. I cannot tell you by looking physically what characteristics you have, but by writing, by looking at your answer, I can judge, the evaluator can judge what type of personality he is. They will come to know whether we are fit for the office or not. That is the beauty of answer writing. In every question you will be visible. You may be present in the Siachen glaciers, or you may be present in the backwaters of Kerala. Everywhere, wherever you are, whatever color creed you belong, I will know about you by looking at your answer. That is the greatness of answer writing. Why? We are presenting ourselves, not one time, 2 times. In every paper, you are presenting 20 times with your head, with your character, with your body, with your feet. You are appearing before the examination or examiner with the paper. What does this mean? Just like Brahma has created us with these physical structures, we have to create ourselves. This is like creating ourselves on the paper. You are the creators. Create to the best. What if Brahma has not concentrated on us? If he has given something greater and something less, if he has forgotten one eye, if he has forgotten some teeth, will we appear good? No. Say for example, if he has given one leg, he has forgotten another leg, he has given one hand, one arm, he has forgotten another arm. No. Everything will be perfectly balanced. Our answer should be perfectly balanced there. You have to be visualized with the so-called flesh and blood. We have to be visualized with the so-called the life force there. Answer writing makes you to have it. By looking at the answer, everything speaks on the answer. Be it the font of the answers that you are writing, be it the order in which you are writing it, be it the clarity that you are maintaining, be it the words or be it the so-called handwriting that you are making. Everything speaks. Why? Look at handwriting, for example. If you are in a hurry, automatically inside, if you are hurry, paper will go wrong or your handwriting will be disturbed. But have you seen Mr. Anup Durisetti sir's answer writing? Right. Be it first question or 20th question, answer writing will be having the same flow. What I mean to say, the clarity or the handwriting will be so good that right from his first word until the last word, it will be more or less of the same thing. Which means when we are solace with ourselves, answer writing will go in a good manner. So answer writing depicts everything. So answer writing should be done in that way. So every answer should be having an introduction, connector, body, pre-concluding remarks, conclusion. Just like you have head, neck, body, torso, feet. This is the skeleton. Now, just by skeleton, person will not appear best. What you should have flesh and blood. The more the flesh, the more the blood, you'll be lively. So you have to not only give skeleton for your body, you have to give flesh and blood for your answers. That makes answer writing beautiful. What is the flesh and blood for the answers? I'm going to discuss that. So this is the thing, guys. So what is the best strategy? Today the class is about the best strategy. I'm saying that everyone should have syllabus analysis. I'm not asking you to by heart analysis of the syllabus. It gives you a coherence. I will make you to analyze the syllabus of every module step by step so that it will go and it will fix in your brains and it should be resonated in your answer writing. First thing is that. Second thing is, from the previous year questions, we'll come to know the length and breadth of the paper in each theme. 3. Based on these themes, we'll be discussing the content, where we'll go for in-depth analysis of the content, where there will be crisp reference notes for you so that you'll be ready for answer writing. The fourth thing is answer writing. How our answer has to be present. It has to be like you are the Brahma creating yourself on the paper with the so-called head, body, feet along with the connectors, and give that flesh and blood. What is flesh and blood? All these things I'll be discussing in the answer writing. What are the things that we have to look at answer writing? That will be a separate theme of discussion altogether that I am going to make, because this is the most important thing of our Ace the Mains program. But first thing first, let's start with analysis of the syllabus for the day. How to remember UPSC mains syllabus for economics. I am going to give you one strategy, one way of remembering. Always remember this and you will never forget in your life about this syllabus. And again I am saying this is important for answer writing, right? So no more reiterations, let me start. Mains syllabus of economics. Economics mains syllabus can be divided into 3 components, ladies and gentlemen. We can divide that into 3 components. The first component is, remember the entire syllabus in this way, then you'll remember. I will divide economics mains into 3 parts. The first I call it as basics of economy. Second one is, once you know basics, you should know sectors of economics. After this, we should have investments. Basics, sectors, investments. Only 3 things are there in mains economics. UPSC mains economics have only these components. Now, what are the sub-themes in it? When I say basics, the first 3 chapters of syllabus comes under basics. It starts saying that Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, planning, mobilization of resources. This is the component. Planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and happiness. Growth, development and happiness. So issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and happiness. Planning is very important because resources are limited. So unless and until you plan, resources cannot be mobilized systematically. The moment you are mobilizing resources systematically, you are utilizing the resources to the maximum. As a result, you can reach potential GDP altogether. That is how you can propel the growth. The moment there is growth, we will focus on development and then we will focus on employment. Development is associated with employment here. Development and employment. Like this, they have related the subject: planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, and employment. Next, after this, growth will not be sustainable if you are not including all the sections. So from growth, they will go to the second component, that is called inclusive growth, and issues arising out of it. Inclusive growth and issues arising out of it. The third component is, in order to mobilize resources and everything, government has one fiscal policy known as government budgeting. Government budgeting. So whenever I say economics, you have three components: basics, sectors, investments. In the basics issues, planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. When you plan, mobilization of resources can be done. Effective mobilization of resources promotes growth. With growth, we can focus on development. One important aspect of development is employment. The second thing is poverty and inequalities are also there, but here they did not give poverty. Poverty was discussed in GS paper 2. So poverty can also be included here, but strictly restricting here development, they have given it to employment. So growth, Indian economy and issues: plan, mobilize the resources, grow, develop, provide employment opportunities. How you have to grow? Inclusive growth, and then promote government budgeting, because through budgeting only all this happens. This is the first three topics in UPSC mains of economics. So this three, I say it as the so-called the first basics component. Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and happiness. Inclusive growth and issues, government budgeting. After this, the next two components that we have in the syllabus: crops, e-technology, issues related to direct, indirect, public distribution system, technology missions, economics of animal rearing, food processing industries, e-technology in the aid of farmers, land reforms, all these things we can classify. Liberalization of economy, infrastructure, all these things I say it as the so-called sectors. The second point that I need to say is, this is sectors of economy. This is sectors of economy. So the second thing that I am mentioning here is sectors, which is the basic component of economics syllabus. The question is how to remember it. So first thing is three: basics, sectors, investments. In the basics, you have issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. Growth should be inclusive growth and issues arising out of it. Mobilization of resources can be possible through budgeting, and that is how you have to remember this. But the next question is how to remember sectors. Investment models, they have only one thing. The last component is various investments and investment models in the country. This is last component. Investment models is only one thing. What are the investments? Investments means we want money. So what is this? Money. What is this money that you have? So first part and last part is easy. basics on investments, we have to remember sectors. Now we all know, ladies and gentlemen, don't complicate the things. So we all know that right from our school days, how many sectors of economy is there? Anyone can say it. There are only three sectors of economy: agriculture, industries, service sector. Agriculture is primary, industries is secondary, tertiary sector is service. Agriculture, primary is any economic activity that depends upon the nature or naturally available products. Secondary is something which depends on the output of primary and processes this into certain other products. Service sector is that sector which contributes for agricultural development and industrial development. Service, agricultural development and industrial development. That is why it is called service, seva. To whom it is doing seva? It is doing to agriculture or industries. It is doing to agriculture or industries. So in the sectors, we have agriculture, industry, service sector. Now how to remember this? So first is basics, sectors, investments, basics, three components: issues, inclusive growth and issues arising out of it, budgeting, investment models, money and how money is coming, what are the investment models. But in sectors, we have agriculture, industry and service sector. Now how to remember this? How to remember it? Bro, వింటున్నావా? ఓకేనా నేను చెప్పేది? బాగుందా? So first is agriculture sector. How to remember agriculture sector according to the syllabus? Remember the thing that I am saying, it will be going into your head. Agriculture, we know, has certain inputs and certain outputs. Certain inputs and certain outputs. Agriculture has certain inputs and outputs. So just remember, agriculture is input and output activity. Now what are the inputs for agriculture? Normally the inputs for agriculture will be, agriculture is a land-based activity. You should have land. Once land is there, I have my land. I have prepared my land. Then crops has to come. How crops will come? Seeds is important. So from the seeds, crops will come. So seeds and crops. Okay, I have sown the seed. విత్తనాలు వేసాము. తర్వాత ఏంటి? What next? Crops will not come or germinate as it is. You require water. So third thing is water. Okay, then I have to give some nutrients to the crop. If the land doesn't have nutrients, I have to give it. I can give it organically or industrial made nutrients, fertilizers. Then give some pesticides if some pest attacks are happening. So what I am starting with the land, provide the seeds. From seeds, crops will come. Then give water, irrigation. Then what you have to have, you should have some other things like pesticides, fertilizers, all this. And then in order to provide all this, you require credit for the agricultural farmer. So take money from where credit is coming. That is one thing. After this, we should have some support mechanisms by government. Farmer will not be having the money to purchase land, to grow crops, to pay electricity bill, to purchase the so-called fertilizers, pesticides. So in order to save these vulnerable sections of population, that is the farming community, government has to give some subsidies. So because money will not be present, subsidies has to be given. So that is the next component, subsidies. So these are all input side of agriculture. So whenever I say agriculture, we all know that agriculture is a land-based activity. Land. First one is land. Next, once you have land, you sow the seeds. Second one is seeds. Second one is seeds. From the seeds, you derive crops. Right? From the seeds, you derive crops. From the seeds, we derive crops. But how to get the crops? Crops are not going to come as it is. You have to go for irrigation, or water you have to give. Providing water at regular intervals to the crop is called irrigation. So providing water to the crop at regular intervals is called irrigation. This is third thing. Next thing is you should require certain other things like fertilizers, pesticides to save the crop. You require credit, mechanization. All these things are important. All these things are important. Fertilizers, pesticides, credit, and mechanization. Apart from that, you also require one more thing, that is subsidies by the government, so that the burden on the farmer is going to come down. So these are the minimum inputs that is expected by the farmer. You should have land, you should have seeds, you should have water, you should have fertilizers, pesticides, chemicals. Next is you should have credit, you should have mechanization, then subsidies. Now what UPSC gave? In the land, UPSC has discussed about the component of land reforms in the country. From land, you will have land reforms. So remember, this is one important component, land and land reforms in the country, where you have Jamindari abolition systems, tenancy rights, land ceiling acts, cooperativization movements, green revolution, digitalization of land records, modernization of land records, Swamitwa schemes, all these are present. Land reforms. Next, this is official syllabus, land reforms. In the seats, what they said, what are the various crops and cropping patterns in India? What is the cropping pattern that you are going in India? What are the different crops and cropping patterns in India? In the water, what are the different types of irrigation and irrigation systems in India? Irrigation and irrigation systems in India. And in the subsidies, they gave about issues of subsidies. Issues of subsidies. And whatever I wrote in black color there, they did not ask in mains syllabus. But just you should know agriculture requires these things, but they did not ask in the syllabus. So in the input side, they have given land reforms, crops, cropping patterns, irrigation and different types of irrigation systems, subsidies and their impacts, or issues. Four things. Only four things are there in the syllabus. They did not give about fertilizers, chemicals, mechanization, credit, right? But as a student, we should know this. Agriculture requires all this. Okay, I am the farmer, I have given all this. I have my land, I have given my seeds, I have given crops, I have given water, and then I have given I was provided subsidies, everything I have taken care. But the question is, as a farmer, can I be very assured that I am going to get the output after 3 months? No. Out of all the business that you are doing, Agriculture is a risky business. Even though I work for 3 months, my crop is not yet assured. It is subjected to many risks. So I have to save my crop. How to save the crop? So here, in order to ensure that my crop is saved, Government of India has insurance. Insurance, which means insurance is provided through Pradhana Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. We have one insurance scheme known as Pradhana Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Again, this is not there in the syllabus, but you should know. 1 minute. వీడేనా వినిపిస్తుందా మాట్లాడితే క్లాస్ So insurance is important. Though it is not given in the syllabus, you should know what is required for agriculture. Land, seeds, crops, fertilizers, pesticides, credit, mechanization, subsidies, insurance. Okay, this is what the input, and I have saved the crop. Unfortunately, by God's grace, I had a good harvest. Then I'll enter into the output side. Happily, I go to my farm. But just like me, all the farmers in the country are going to come. The one problem again in agriculture, unfortunately, is though our output is assured, unfortunately, this output will not be translated into monetary terms. Take for example, last week my parents have produced some sweet lime, but the time the market is lime is coming, almost all our people are producing Mosambik at the same time. As a result, prices have crashed. So one biggest problem that the farmers face is, as agriculture is a seasonal activity, everyone produces products at the same time, and we know the market dynamics. Price is directly proportional to supply, demand, and inversely proportional to supply. As there is more supply, prices will crash. So even if I have taken 3 months efforts, even my harvest has come, the agricultural farmer is not secured in his conversion of this output into money. That creates a challenge. So on the output segment, in order to ensure that I have realization of money, I have to store my food grains until my market prices go up. So storage is important. Once I store it, I have to move. When the market prices are increasing, once I have stored it, when the market prices are increasing, I have to take it to the market and I have to market it. Marketing of agricultural produce. For that, what I have to do? I have to transport my commodity to market. So storage, transport, and marketing of agricultural produce. Store when the market prices are rising, transport and reach the market. This is what they said in the syllabus. But sometimes, as majority of the farmers in the country are small and marginal farmers. Marginal farmers are those who are with less than 1 hectare of land. Small farmers are those who are with less than 2 hectares of land. So almost in the country, 91 or 92% of farmers are marginal and small. As a result, they will not have the capacity to store. They wanted to go and market their produce even at low prices. At that point of time, I cannot wait for the market to rise for a very long period. I do not have money. I have kept all my money on the agricultural land. And if you are asking me to store, storage is a complicated process. I cannot store for a very long time. As a result, what I have to do is I have to ensure that I have to ensure that I have to ensure that government is coming and supporting me. I cannot sell at distressed sale. If I have kept 100 rupees, minimum thing that I have to get is 100. But due to the so-called market, my market will fall to such an extent that my product price will go at 50 rupees in the market. When I have produced my sweat, I have invested my sweat, blood and money there, I am getting just 50 rupees for my 100 rupees. Which means you are making the life of the farmer quite complicated due to this marketing failures. So at that point of time, it is the responsibility of the government to come and save the farmer. Otherwise, tomorrow no one is going to agricultural lands again. As a result, there will be food security challenges. So what government has to do? Government has to step in and they have to support minimum support price for the agricultural farmers. MSP should be there. MSP, minimum support price, should be there. MSP is the price that government will give when the market prices are falling far below. So this is one support that the government is giving to the agricultural farmer. Kanisa Maddatu Dara. So what do you mean by that? Central government will send some food corporation agencies, FCI will come to your house with a truck. And what they are going to give you? They are going to give you the so-called the minimum support price, and they are going to carry your product. So they will give you the money, give your rice, wheat, whatever you have produced. They will take, Food Corporation of India is going to take and going to store at a place called buffer stocks. They will go and maintain buffer stocks. Buffer stock is the technical name for warehouses, and warehouses is the technical name for godowns. Godown is our common language. So Food Corporation of India will take these food grains and they will store in the buffers. They will go and store it in the buffers. They are going to store here. So minimum support price I will give and I will store. What government has to do by storing this? Okay, I have the responsibility of protecting the farmer. As a result, I have taken this at MSP and I am storing it in my godowns. I am storing it in my godowns. But the next question is, right, I am storing it in my godowns. What I have to do? My godowns will be full. Why I have to take it to the godowns? Because Government of India has another vital responsibility, which is a moral as well as legal obligation of government. That is to ensure that there is food security for the country. That there are millions of people in the country who are not having basic food. Who are not having basic food. So what government will do is, by using this same buffers, they will come to the doorsteps of those people who doesn't have food, and they will ensure that there is something called food security for the vulnerable sections. Food security for the vulnerable sections. I have to ensure food security also. How? Through the concept of fair price shops, Chauka Vastula Dukhanalu, fair price shops, which is also known as the so-called ration shops, which is also called as the ration shops in the country. We should have it. So food security, fair price shops. So look at what government is doing. In order to protect the farmer on one side, I am collecting the food grains, and in order to ensure that there is food for everyone in this country, I am ensuring that there is food security through ration shops. So the entire chain, right from the farmer's gate to the so-called food security, reaching your doorsteps, government is functioning, and this entire system is called more or less as the public distribution system, the so-called as the public distribution system. This entire network is called as public distribution system. Now my public distribution system, I am doing it. So government of India is doing public distribution system because it has certain objectives to be achieved in the country. On one side, it has to ensure that it has to protect the farmer, and it has to ensure that there is minimum buffer stocks, along with it has to ensure that there is food security. But whenever government of India is doing this public distribution system, Praja Pampani Vyavastha, what are the objectives it has? We'll study. What are the challenges in it? Also, we have to study it. What are the objectives of public distribution system? How it is functioning? What are the limitations? How to revamp it? What are the issues of buffer stocks and food security? So what they are saying, what are the objectives of this public distribution system? How it is functioning? What are the limitations? Once you have limitations, revamp it, and make it effective. So public distribution system, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping, and issues related to buffer stocks and food security. These are the things that they gave. Whatever I wrote in blue color here and purple color, they are the components of the syllabus. So on the output side, how to remember the syllabus: storage, transport, marketing of agricultural produce, minimum support price, buffer stocks, food security, public distribution system. What is the objective of public distribution system? How exactly it is functioning? What are the limitations? As you have limitations, you have to revamp it and then go for the other things like this. So this is the next thing. Okay, if it is food grains, I can do it. I can do this system. But what if I have grown tomatoes or potatoes? I cannot store, and ration shops are not giving tomatoes, potatoes. Then is the farmer of the country asked to go for selling it at distress? So what if I cannot, all the food grains cannot be done, all the agricultural products cannot go with the same logic that I have shown here. Everything cannot be done in this way. Then how to overcome these challenges? How to overcome these challenges? That is the question. For that, we have the next component, that is some food grains. If I am producing tomatoes, I cannot go for storage for a very long time. That will be a challenge. So then how to save the farmer from distress with sale? That is the next question. How to save my farmer from distress with sale? If it is certain other commodity which I cannot store it, which I cannot go for this storage, then from that we'll go to one thing that is called convert the tomatoes into tomato ketchup, tomato pickle. You can store for a long time. So you require agro based industries, agricultural based industries or agro based industries. These are called as food processing industries. So from here, we'll go to the second sector of economics, that is called industries. That is called industries. First sector is this. First sector is this. We require industries. So the first industry is food processing industry or agro-based industry. Now this industry has certain backward linkages. Something has to be linked in the backward from agriculture to the so-called industrial input, and the output that I have produced should reach again to the so-called the market, and from the market it has to reach to the consumers. Whatever I produce, it has to reach your house, otherwise there is no point of producing it. So it has to reach to the market, and it has to reach to the consumer point. So from farmer's gate to industrial gate, you call it as backward linkage. From industrial output to your consumer's point, this is called forward linkage. So food processing industries have backward linkages as well as forward linkages, and this entire link is called as the supply chain mechanism. The entire link is called as the supply chain mechanism. We call that as supply chain mechanism. Which includes the backward linkage. Backward linkage means, as I said, in order to start this industry, I require certain raw materials, that is called backward, and I have to reach to the market, that is called forward. Backward linkage, forward linkages, and I have to have location, and this entire is called supply chain. So in the agro-based industries, those items that I cannot store and I cannot distribute in the public distribution system that I have been speaking about, we have to go for industries where we'll be studying about agro-based industries or food processing industries. And here you have supply chain mechanisms, backward linkages, forward linkages, and location factors. These things we have. So like this, they will take two industries: food processing industry, forward linkage, backward linkage, location factors, supply chain management. We have to study about this. From here, they will take to other industries. So after discussing about these industries, we go for other industries. Agricultural industries are the basic industries. Then other industries are micro, small, medium, and large enterprises. All these things are not given in the syllabus. That is an advantage. Micro, small, medium enterprises, they did not give in the syllabus large. But what they said is various industrial policies in the country, various industrial policies in the country, various industrial policies in the country, and their impact on industrial growth, and their impact on industrial growth, they give various industrial policies. One industry they said is agro processing industry or food processing industry. The other industries they did not discuss, but we will look at micro, small, medium enterprises. That is important. But what they asked is various industrial policies in the country. Majorly the industrial policies is pre-1991 policies, post-1991 policies, like this. Next they said is impact of 1991 LPG reforms on Indian economy. How far LPG reforms impacted Indian economy? Impacts of LPG reforms on Indian economy. So once we study agriculture, what I am saying, how to remember the syllabus. So in the agriculture, input side, output side, land, crops, irrigation, subsidies. These are the four things that they gave in the syllabus: fertilizers, pesticides, credit, mechanization, insurance, these things are not there, but they are also components of agriculture, you have to remember. After that, storage, transport, marketing of agricultural produce, Food Corporation of India, MSP, minimum support price, buffer stocks, food security, public distribution system, and then public distribution system, what is the objective, functions, limitations, challenges we have to know, and then industries, food processing industry, backward linkages, forward linkages we have to know, and then we have to study about the so-called markets, that is called various industrial policies in the country, and LPG reforms. So apart from that, agriculture would be incomplete if I don't discuss one important component of it, that is called animal rearing. Animal rearing, animal livestock. So agriculture is always incomplete if I don't discuss with animal rearing. That is why economics syllabus contained economics of animal rearing. Economics of animal rearing. So you have to know that animal rearing is a component of agriculture. Padi pantalu antaru. Padi means animals. Panta they will not say. So agriculture is indirectly or directly linked with animal husbandry. Animal husbandry has a greater emphasis on agriculture and vice versa. So whenever we discuss, we should not forget not only that input output side, but also we should remember that animal rearing is there, which means economics of animal rearing we have to study. Now technology is advancing everywhere. Why can't we use technology in agriculture then? Yes, we can use. For that, Government of India or UPSC syllabus gave various technology missions in Indian agriculture. What are the various technology missions and how electronic technology, e-technology can be helpful in the aid of farmers. In the aid of farmers. So we should also study about them. So whenever we study about agriculture, we should also study about e-technology or technology missions and e-technology in the aid of farmers. The thing that you are finding on the screen is the syllabus for agriculture and industries. Is the syllabus for agriculture and industries. Agriculture, land reforms, crops, cropping patterns across the country, irrigation and irrigation, different types of irrigation systems, subsidies and issues, output, go for output. Remember in the fashion, in the manner that I am saying, input over output, store the agricultural produce till the prices will rise, then transport it, market it. If even after storing for many days, if the market prices are not rising, government will have minimum support price anyhow, sell it to minimum support prices, buffer stocks will be maintained by government, government will reach your home to ensure that there is food security in the country through the system of public distribution. So that makes us to discuss about public distribution, where you have upstream, where you have what is the objectives of it, how it is functioning, what are the limitations, how to revamp it. These are the things that they have. After that, agriculture is incomplete without animals, so animal rearing or economics of animal rearing is important, and then incorporate the topics of the so-called technology missions and e-technology in the aid of farmers. Technology is enhancing. Then we'll take to the so-called industries, where we'll be discussing about food processing industry. What are the downstream requirements? What are the upstream requirements? Upstream and downstream requirements, and the so-called. So this backward linkages are also called as upstream requirements for this industry. These are upstream. They're also called as upstream requirements. They are called as downstream requirements. Upstream, downstream, and the entire supply chain mechanisms. And then various industrial policies. After discussing this industry, then they said various industrial policies and their impact on industrial growth. And then we'll be discussing about impacts of LPG reforms on Indian economy. This makes us to complete two sectors. One is agriculture and industries. The last sector, as we know, is service. Right. The last sector that we know is service sector in the syllabus. Now, what component of services they have given? Service is something which will be extending seva, which will be extending seva. Now, to whom you have to extend seva? Now, seva is done to agriculture and industries. Any sector which contributes for increasing the productivity of agriculture, primary and secondary, is called tertiary. Seva is done for agriculture and industries for their growth. Now, which services they gave? The services that UPSC syllabus gave is not all the services, but infrastructure services. This gave infrastructure in the service. Infrastructure is one type of service, right? Because infrastructure does save for promotion of agriculture and industries. Now, which infrastructure official syllabus carries? Energy infrastructure. Energy. Energy is conventional energy, non-conventional sources of energy like this. And second one is transportation infrastructure. Transportation infrastructure. Energy and transportation. In the transportation, we all know that there are four modes of transport. There are four modes of transport. The roads or roadways, the railways, the airports, and the seaways, seaports. So roads, railways, airways, and seaports. Energy can be renewable energy, non-renewable energy. Electricity, electrical energy is the major energy that we'll be discussing. So, in the services, what I am saying, we are studying the UPSC mains syllabus, where I said how to remember UPSC mains syllabus through the sectors, agriculture, industries, and service sector. And here, in the agriculture, you have input, processing, output. In the industries, you have the so-called agro-based industries, and then various industrial policies. After that, LPG reforms. Then is service sector. Then is service sector. After that, we have service sector. Which service? Infrastructure. Which infrastructure? Energy and transportation. So, whenever I say you to remember sectors, so remember this way. Agriculture, I said you one strategy to remember. This is the strategy. Input of agriculture, three things: land, crops, cropping patterns, and then you have irrigation and irrigation types. After that, subsidies. Then output side, storage, transport, marketing of agricultural produce, minimum support prices, buffer stocks, minimum support price, buffer stocks, food security, public distribution system. And then we have to ensure about animal rearing, technology missions, and e-technology. After that, go for directly industries, food processing industry, upstream, downstream, location challenges, and entire global supply chain. After that, come to the concept of services. Services is infrastructure. So from here, we'll go to food processing industries and various industrial policies in India and their impact on industrial growth in the country. How industrial growth has happened in the country. And then go to the so-called impacts of reforms on the Indian economy, how it has impacted the Indian economy. And then we have service sector. Service sector is infrastructure sector, where you have energy and other infrastructure, that is called transportation. This is the thing that they said. So this is sectors. And then models of investment. We have public model, private model, public-private partnership. So in the model, we have to study about public model, private model. Most importantly, we have to go and study the public-private partnership in the country. So this is what they have: UPSC Mains Economics syllabus. UPSC Mains Economics syllabus, ladies and gentlemen, we should never forget this. If you remember in this way that you are finding on the screen, that is an effective way of remembering the syllabus for UPSC, and we will never forget for the life here. So this is how you have to remember the syllabus. This is how you have to remember the syllabus for the mains. Hope now you understood this. So this is the first strategy. What I said in my strategy, the first thing is you should know the syllabus. So remember the syllabus in the manner that I said. That is the most important thing to excel in this paper. To excel in this paper. Now why I am saying this, we have to remember the syllabus these many times. Unless and until we know the syllabus, we cannot write effectively answers. Say for example, if they ask a question on the topic of, say, public distribution system. If you know that the public distribution system is something which is related to, if you know something it is related to the so-called output of agricultural produce and food security, we can write in a systematic manner. Know the link, then answer will come. If you are asking about MSP, we should know why MSP is there in the country. Once you know that market prices are falling, then we should have MSP. This is called systematic and intellectual answering. UPSC said this. A wise man understands this in this way. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. The moment you are doing that, then this will be helpful. Right. So in the service sector, we have to go like this. So this is the way to remember the syllabus, and whatever I discussed is given in the syllabus. Look at the syllabus now. Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment, from growth issues, inclusive growth and issues arising out of it, government budgeting. This is called basics. Then sectors of economy: agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector. Agriculture, major crops, cropping patterns, different types of irrigations and irrigation systems, transport, marketing of agricultural produce, issues related to it and constraints, e-technology in the aid of farmers, issues related to subsidies, be it direct subsidies or indirect subsidies, and minimum support price. So in subsidies, you have two subsidies, direct subsidy and indirect subsidy. So you have to study about their issues. So subsidies are of two types. One is direct and indirect. We should know about them. Direct and indirect, and we should know about them. That is what they gave. Next, and minimum support price, public distribution system objectives, functioning, and then we have limitations, revamping, issues of buffer stocks and food security, technology missions, economics of animal rearing. All I discussed, but in a sequential manner. Food processing industry, what is the scope of food processing industry in the country, what is the significance, upstream, downstream, location and supply chain management. Then land reforms in India, I said. Effects of liberalization of Indian economy, challenges to industrial policy and change and its impact on industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. Infrastructure, two types of infrastructure: energy and transportation, ports, seaports, roads, airports, railways, and investment models is the third thing. So you can reorient this syllabus of economics. You can reorient this syllabus of economics in the manner that I have shown you. In the manner that I have shown you. So this is the first thing that I wanted to say as a strategy. So you should know the coherence of the syllabus, and everyone should remember the syllabus that I said for economics before coming to the class. This is your first task. The task is knowing the syllabus. You should know in depth about the syllabus. Now, previous year question scope I will be discussing with themes. So these things I will be discussing with the themes. Content and everything will come with themes. We'll go with the thematic analysis, then we'll understand that how to develop the themes. Once we know the themes, I'll discuss about answer writing. As I already said, answer writing is having intro, connector, body, P concluding remarks, conclusions along with flesh and blood. Now what is this flesh and blood? Flesh and blood means you have to give data, facts, quotes, recent examples, or about any reports, or about sustainable development goals, something you have to write on this. So this is your flesh and blood. You should have some data regarding to certain topics, quotations, examples, reports. If you are writing all this, that becomes a so-called the analysis. So answer writing, remember, answer writing should include these things. Answer writing should include these things. So this is the way in which we have to approach. This is the way in which we have to approach. So what I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, I have been saying this. What is your work? You should know the syllabus. So now let me go for the division of the tasks. What is my task and what is your task? In order to effectively utilize this series, what I will be doing, just like I have given the syllabus here, I have already analyzed the syllabus. So in all my modules, I will be giving analysis. This is my task, and your task is to recall the syllabus every day for the next 17 days. Recall the syllabus for the next 17 days. The second thing is, I will be giving this content. Whatever I said content here, all the content I will be providing you. Along with the flesh and blood. But what you have to do, you have to note it down. Your task is noting it down and think on it, understand the topic. The third task that I will do is, I will make you to understand the length and breadth of the topic through selective previous year questions. You should understand it. That's it. No need to have any task, just understand. Fourth thing is, after every theme, I will be giving 2 questions. You have to write it. 2 questions every day. You have to practice it. So you have to have active participation throughout the course, so that it will be a win-win scenario for both of us. You will get the rank, I will get the credit also, right? Like this. It will be a win-win scenario for both. So already my first work is done, analysis of the syllabus. I said you what is the importance of the analysis of the syllabus. Now your task remains is to remain or recall this syllabus for the next 14 days or 17 days, 18 days lecture. This is the thing. And every day, whenever I conduct live classes, you come here and you participate. So content, I will give, you have to make it down and you have to understand it. 3, previous year questions, analysis, you have to understand. 4, that gives you the length and breadth. 2 questions you have to write every day. That will make us to have win-win situation. After this entire module, I will be conducting one grand test, so that I will be evaluating how your performance is. Meanwhile, I'll also be having some discussions on some weekends. 2 to 3 times I will come across the students. If you are having any problems also, I'll be giving you some time to go ahead with it, and you can talk to me on that day also. So what I say, ladies and gentlemen, so in this program of mains, modules of mains, is the mains program. What I am saying is what we can expect and what you can expect. What you can expect and what we can expect. This is what I'm saying. Right. So the tasks are simple. So I'll recall. In the mains answer writing program, in order to ace the mains in the next 18 days for economics, where we are targeting 75 out of that 120 to 125, the tasks that I'm going to do for the next 18 days is as follows. I'll be doing an analysis of the syllabus. I have done that in this class. Your task now is left is you have to go for 17 days analysis. You every day just go through the syllabus and come. By the end of the 18th day, syllabus should be remembered by everyone who has joined this course. That is the first way to get great mark. Second, I will be providing you the content, facts, and the remaining things along with the crisp notes. You have to note it down and you have to understand the topic. Third thing is, I will be going through the previous year questions to tell you the length and breadth of the questions, and you have to understand it. Fourth is, every day I'll give 2 questions. You have to actively participate to write the answers, because I'll be seeing the structure. You just maintain the structure, you are going to understand it. If you do this, fifth one will be a quick recall program of the entire topic. I will recall, and then what I will be giving, I'll be asking you to write a mock test. Thereby, within the next 18 days, it has to be a win-win situation for everyone, where we will be getting 75 mark in this. So let's pray that this is going to happen. Let us think that God is with us, so that we'll be reaching our targets. So this is about day 1, the effective strategy for the mains of economics that I have been saying. So this is day 1 class, where I am going to have, I said, best strategy, task assignments for economics. Best strategy and task assignments for economics. So I am done with this topic for the day. Tomorrow I'll be starting about investment models, infrastructure, energy things, and from tomorrow you have to start this. So whenever I conduct live classes, normally my live classes go from 5:30 or 5 o'clock to 6:45. Normally it will be at 5 o'clock to 6:45. Those who have enrolled will have live classes also. The live will be shared to you. Try to come to live class as much as you can. If you miss it, there will be recorded classes uploaded here. You can just go and use that recorded classes. Right guys, this is day 1 of the 18-day series. I wish you to have a great journey, enjoy the learning process, excel yourself in answer writing, so that your names will be there in economics toppers list. Right, this is what I have for the day. Thank you for joining. Have a great day. We'll meet you soon tomorrow with the so-called investment models, infrastructure, and energy, where I'm going to come on live. The live details will be shared to you through the so-called link, through my app. It will be coming to you. Those who have enrolled, you'll get the link also. Right, this is what I have. Hope you have enjoyed this class. Be ready, brace up yourself. It is going to be a enjoyable learning process altogether. Take care guys. Good night all.